Tony accidentally dropped his jade pendant. It slipped beneath an ancient cauldron. He tried reaching for it, but it was too far down, so he decided to move the cauldron. Unexpectedly, with just one hand, the family heirloom weighing 10,000 Gene felt as light as foam. He had no idea that this sight nearly terrified the girl behind him. This cauldron had been passed down for generations, immovably heavy, yet in Tony's hands it was lighter than a feather. At that moment the girl recalled her grandfather's words. Her fiancé would be the one to save the family from crisis. Tony was the disciple of the martial alliance leader. He had no inner energy, but was born with the holy martial body. Just his physical strength alone was enough to crush the world's strongest fighters. But his master feared he would become arrogant, so he tricked him, telling him he was useless. Training 20 years without gaining even a trace of inner power, not even as good as the doorkeeper's boy. Tony felt guilty and ashamed, believing he had failed his sect. To temper him in the mortal world, his master gave him a jade pendant and sent him down the mountain, telling him to save his fiancée. Not long after descending, Tony stumbled upon a group chasing down an older man. Seeing the man begging desperately for his life, Tony couldn't bear it. At the instant the blade was about to fall, he whisked the man away, traveling over 100 meters in a blink. The man was saved, but gravely injured. He begged Tony to escort him home. Tony agreed. At the martial arts hall entrance, Tony laid eyes on the man's daughter and fell in love at first sight, but he didn't know she was actually his fiancée. Grateful for his rescue, the father offered to help him find the woman he sought, but upon learning Tony's fiancée was his own daughter, he stopped her from revealing the truth. Though thankful for Tony's kindness, he believed a man without inner power was unworthy of his daughter, so he kept silent. Just then a disciple rushed in. The rival martial hall had come to issue another challenge. The father rose furiously despite his injuries. The girl panicked. She knew her father was in no state to fight, so she begged Tony to help, but Tony shook his head in embarrassment, saying apart from being a little faster and stronger, he had no inner power at all. Yet seeing her disappointment, he reluctantly agreed. They rushed out together, only to see the challengers bringing a coffin, declaring a life and death duel against her father's hall. The father hesitated, but provoked by insults he accepted. The first challenger stepped up, a notorious prodigy, known for killing disciples of many sects. The crowd was filled with dread. The senior disciple of the hall volunteered, because he had already struck a deal yesterday. He would throw the fight, and in exchange the hall and his junior sister would be spared. But Tony noticed instantly that both fighters' moves were riddled with flaws. When the senior disciple fell, Tony kindly offered him advice, but he brushed it off, since he had no intention of winning anyway. In the next round, he collapsed before the opponent even touched him. The second disciple then took the stage, but he was completely outclassed, falling almost instantly. Then recalling Tony's earlier reminder, he tried the suggested move, and to everyone's shock, he won with ease. The girl looked at Tony with newfound hope, but the rival hall called forth reinforcements. A man known as the First Bloodsaber. Her father raged at the unfairness, but the rival claimed he was their guest elder. The second disciple braced himself to fight, but was swiftly beaten, crushed without resistance. The Bloodsaber man forced him to kneel, to admit their hall was full of trash, or he would die on the spot. The disciple refused. The situation grew dire. The girl quickly removed her jade pendant, told Tony she was his